back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Stardew Valley. So my last episode, we continued here in fall, and we are finishing up with the last few things we can do in the fall season. We're getting very close to finishing up with autumn. We have a few more things we want to try to accomplish before winter comes along. This week's dish is pancakes. I love pancakes, but we already know how to cook them. As Haley continues to clean up around the house for us. Thank you very much. But you'll notice that our smoked fish over there, I believe it's a bullhead, has finished in the smoker. So now we just need to create some crab pots and put those down by the ocean and try to find some of the mussels, is it, that we need in order to finish off the raccoon quest. And so we'll be doing that in this particular episode, because we do have to craft those craft pots, or crab pots actually. And we need iron bars and wood, and quite a bit of it to create each one. I'm going to create 4 or 5 of them. If I create 5, I can usually get about 1 of the mussel per day in terms of the items that you need. Alright, so I have gotten enough to create another bee house. We're getting very close to our final combinations here of bee houses down on our farm as we head into winter. And then I also grabbed all of my supplies to create the crab pots. So we'll create 5 of them. So now we're good to go, and we also need bait to put in the crab pots, so we'll get that as well. And then head down to the beach. For your moment of mindfulness, we'll get some hardwood. That has been your moment of mindfulness for this episode. Alright, so we grabbed a bunch of stuff. We're going to head over to the beach in a little bit, but first we're going to check in with Clint in order to do some processing of a few items we have here from our recent adventures mining. We still have a lot more mining to do. Again, we are trying to get enough iridium in order to access the iridium bars we need to get to Ginger Island by fixing Willy's boat. And so we will be spending a little bit more time down in the Skull Cavern. But hopefully we'll get a few more items here for the museum. Again, we're around 54 or 55 items, give or take. And so we are getting very close to, I believe, the 60 we need in order to open up the sewers. And hopefully as we continue through the Skull Cavern, we will find more geodes, or perhaps even items that we can use to progress the museum even more. So we got 2 new items here. So we'll drop them on our table over here, and then we'll check them out. We'll also talk to the kids over here. Looks like it's just Vincent today. I wonder what Jazz is up to. It's good to learn how to read. It's a very important skill in today's world, and really in the world in general. You want to be able to read. Yes, you can have audiobooks and things like that, but it's important because it allows you to see all that information and do things like read books, which are very good for your mind. Alright, so we have our crab pots here. We're going to drop them down here on the beach off of the dock, and then we'll fill them with bait. So we have enough for 4 days. If we don't get what we need, we'll have to get more bait from Willy. But hopefully we'll get what we need without having to do that, because we need to get more mussels. Alright, and we got a little scene here with George. I actually came in here because it's George's birthday, so I brought him a piece of coral, of course. And we're getting Harvey's affection scene here, I believe, one of his earlier ones. And Harvey is doing house call. Not many doctors do those anymore. Really, only in situations where I believe someone is very old through like Medicare or, you know, something like that, an assistance program. George doesn't like the advice that Harvey is giving. I know what's best for my body. That is not true at all. People usually do not know what's best for their body, especially older people. A lot has changed over the years, and modern medicine in many ways is keeping many of those people alive. I think I read an article the other day that said heart attacks are actually down a little bit, but still a major problem for people in the United States, heart disease. Our diets are not the greatest. So what do you think? Should George follow Dr. Harvey's advice, or does he know what's best for his own body? Well, you probably know my opinion. Yes, you should always listen to your doctor. You don't necessarily have to do everything your doctor tells you, because they're always going to err on the side of caution. But you certainly should take their advice to heart and at least listen to them. So we're going to go along with Harvey. That's what he wants to hear. So he's very happy. Alright, and then we're going to give George a little bit of a salve here, or salve, and that is a piece of coral for his birthday. So you're welcome. As usual, people get coral for their birthday. It's not too much to ask. But I believe we have managed to hit every birthday so far, and that'll be the goal for the rest of the playthrough. Coral for everybody. Alright, so another successful day in the valley. We started our process of trying to get our mussels. We're going to get swole. Not really. We're actually going to get mussels from the beach so that we can hopefully get to a point where, and I guess that wasn't a new book, even though it looked like it was. Interesting. But we want to get to the point where we can advance the raccoon tree stump at least one time. The second level of it, you need, I believe, a dryer from Pierre, and then a very specific item that will be randomly chosen, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to get that, so we'll see. I'll try to continue it as much as I can. You do have to wait a week in between each time that you give the raccoon what it wants. Is that chair really interesting, Haley? Oh, you made me some hash browns. Lovely. Hash browns and pancakes. That's a really good combination. All the carbs, and a little bit of protein, too. Mildly perturbed. That's not good. I wanted to go into the skull cavern today. And yes, winter is coming. That is when crops will come to an end outside. But there's still some other stuff we can do. We'll probably end up doing a lot of fishing. But we'll see. Looks like I've got some harvesting to do. And George sent us a recipe for fried eel. Ugh. No thank you. And Marnie sent us some hay, or straw, or whatever that is. So maybe we'll hang on to that, just in case we get an animal. I did realize one of the things we could actually get is a horse. Because I do have quite a bit of money here, and I doubt I'll actually get to the point where I will get enough for the movie theater. But I certainly can try. Oh, we got some broccoli here, and do we actually have the fruit back there? I don't think so, because I think it would be blue if the ancient fruit was done. But we got a lot of good stuff here. Some broccoli, some coffee beans. We'll stick the coffee beans in there and see if we can get a cup of coffee. What'd we get? Anything good? We got one mussel. That's good. A little bit of trash, not surprising, in our ocean. It's not plastics, it's trash. And we got a lobster too. Guess we could cook that up. And then we're going to try to find some ectoplasm in the mines. So that'll be our next goal, as we add another mussel to our group. Alright, so I went down through the skull cavern a little bit more, and I got enough iridium to get 5 total bars. So we are now prepared to fix Willy's boat, and once winter hits, we will be able to head over to Ginger Island. So that's pretty exciting. I did not expect, as we get to level 8 in combat, to be able to get to Ginger Island in this playthrough. But we managed to do it, as we picked up another 14,000 gold to add to our coffers. So we'll need to head down to the beach not only to look for mussels, but also to repair the boat. And then I believe it takes a day to fix it. And then tomorrow, I believe, is Spirit's Eve. So we'll be doing that event in my next episode. And then we'll finish up with fall the day after, and then I will probably not head to Ginger Island until the beginning of winter. And one of the nice things about Ginger Island is that you get a brand new area that you can use for crops. And it runs the entire year, so you don't have to worry about it. So we'll be setting all that up as well in the very near future. Alright, so let's get all these crops. Since we're not going to be doing a lot more harvesting, at least on this farm, I figured I'd show it off. Lots of sunflowers, a few pumpkins, and then of course a ton of hay. Or wheat, in this case, along with the hay. But yeah, once we actually get to Ginger Island, we'll set up that new farm, and then we'll set it up probably with cranberries. We'll have to get a bunch of new sprinklers. Alright, looks like we finally got our ancient fruit. So after all that growing, we finally got it. It is a repeatable crop. One of the most valuable in the game, and we're going to jam it into our keg here. We're immediately going to change it into some ancient fruit wine, which is one of the most valuable things in the game. And then we got another cup of coffee, which we can use to speed ourselves up a little bit with the caffeine rush. Anything interesting with the traveling merchant today? Autumn's bounty. Cockle. That's what she said. No, I don't need that. Lucky lunch. Ooh, some red cabbage seeds. And, of course, Haley's portrait. If we're feeling festive, we could get that. Alright, one more mussel. We're getting one a day. And then some newspapers. Who reads the newspaper anymore? At least, not the actual newspaper. I do check the news every day, but it's usually online. We don't need any of these other things. We only have one more day, so we'll grab some more bait here, just in case, and if nothing else, we can use it for fishing. But I think I only have 3 or 4 mussels so far. But let's finish fixing the boat. Just have the Iridium bars here to repair the anchor, and now they will fix up the rest of the boat overnight. Then we can head over to Ginger Island again once winter starts. Alright, and then we do have a few other things to get to Clint here to have him process. I also brought a bunch of my weapons and extra items that have been kind of hanging out in my chests. So I can sell those off because they're just taking up space at this point. Not getting anything good so far. Nothing feels worse than having an Omni Geo turn into a single piece of bronze ore. That is pretty bad. But I think a few of those were new items, so we will drop them off at the museum here. And today Jazz is along with Vincent. So we have 2 more items. So again, hopefully that's getting close. Maybe we're around, I don't know, 58 or so, 57 perhaps. So maybe an item or 2 more, and we should be able to get into the sewers. Oh, really? That's unfortunate. Yeah, it's nice. I don't think I would ever wear a bow in my hair, but it's not really my style. An ornamental fan. Kind of like perhaps one that our kimono dancing girl from my Splatterhouse Wampaku graffiti playthrough used. And then calcite. Alright, and let's sell off all these items. We don't need it. No, don't sell the galaxy sword. We do still need that, but I don't need all these extra weapons. Let's just get the money. And that is it for this particular episode. So next time we will finish up with fall. We'll check out the Spirits Eve festival, and then eventually we will head to Ginger Island once winter comes around. So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you all in my next one as we continue on and finish up with fall. So long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.